This is just ridiculous. I'm sure it won't get heavy national media coverage, probably because they're not winning, but I'm sure as soon as a man straps on a one piece and starts kicking the crap out of the women's swim league, it would be incredibly brave and stunning, and it would certainly make the news. What is up? My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back. This, of course, is the epicenter for all of your current and captivating coastal elite chaos. So please hit that subscribe button, like the video, ring the notification bell, leave a comment or two, share this with a friend. Let's go. Now, I absolutely love this story. I had a whole bunch of stuff lined up that I wanted to talk about, maybe a little bit more mainstream headline type of news, but this, I think, is actually the peak. This is what they want. For the past few years, female swimming has been in the news.
I reassigned my gender last week. Like, for example, do I look like a man? Obviously I'm not. This is a woman. But they're not going to let me swim and compete against the ladies because of transphobia. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to wake up. We have champions like Leah Thomas. She's an NCAA champion, the best swimmer in college today. I can't get a scholarship unless I'm able to send a recruiting tape to these colleges. So they say, oh, you have an unfair advantage, Alexandria. What looks like, does this look like an unfair advantage to y'all? Does this look like an unfair advantage? There's nothing unfair about this. I mean, look at me. I'm the same as a girl. But yet, you guys are going to let transphobia run rampant.
And now we have reached the point where a female swimming coach was suspended, then later fired for touching a swimmer's arm. Meanwhile, men are able to dominate swimming. From the Los Angeles Times by way of Yahoo Sports, fired Cal swim coach Teri McKeever admits to emotional misconduct. So she has admitted to this, which got her suspended in the beginning of 2023, I believe, and then later fired. And now she's admitting to all of her wrongdoings. But what exactly is emotional misconduct? The first thing that pops up on Google here is emotional misconduct involves a pattern of deliberate non-contact behavior that has the potential to cause emotional or psychological harm to an athlete. Non-contact behaviors include verbal and physical acts, as well as actions that deny attention or support. And a couple of examples of emotional misconduct are screaming at, berating, insulting, body shaming, ridiculing someone, and physical acts include punching walls or throwing objects at someone. So even though I believe that this new phrase of emotional misconduct is completely false and phony, right? I mean, if you're a coach, you're going to scream at someone, and it doesn't even have to be in a mean way. You can just say, last one, let's go, keep up the good. I mean, anything, but this is some new age sort of everybody gets a participation trophy thing. And keep in mind that as this is happening, men are dominating in women. I mean, it's like a South Park episode out here. This doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
So even though emotional misconduct, I believe, is complete nonsense and it has the potential, so it's not doing anything, it has the potential to. So if one person declares that they felt belittled or whatever by the coach, that is enough to get rid of that coach, apparently. And even though that's all complete nonsense, let's say it's real. Let's say it is very real. It is happening all over the place and it really needs to be dealt with. Are we under the impression that this woman is guilty of it? Teri McKeever? I don't think so. But of course, as we know, they will always eat their own. The snake will eat its own tail every single time. So let's hear a little bit about this situation. Former California women's swimming and diving coach Teri McKeever received a 3-month suspension and was put on 12-month probation for emotional misconduct by the U.S. Center for Safe Sports following an investigation into allegations that led to her dismissal by Cal this year. Attorney John Little, who represented McKeever in the Safe Sport matter, confirmed to the Times the length of the suspension and probation that the longtime coach admitted to some of, but not all of, the alleged misconduct that took place between 2018 and 2022. Well, that actually makes perfect sense because that was, long enough for everybody to get the memo that we've turned into even for women swimming, you have to toughen up just a little bit. But here we are, and that's why they're being overrun by men pretending to be women, because this is how they deal with people who are coaching a team. And we'll find out that I believe she was pretty successful as far as women swimming, is concerned. What she admits to basically is that she cursed, screamed at kids, and that she grabbed one swimmer's arm. Little told the Times by phone Friday morning, adding that McKeever is sorry for the incident. The Southern California News Group was the first to report McKeever's suspension and portions of Safe Sports' confidential report. So she admitted to grabbing the arm of a swimmer. I mean, if you are a collegiate athlete and you can't handle a little bit of rowdy talk, even in women's swimming, a little bit of rowdy talk, and the coach touching your arm, then we have an entirely different set of problems. It continues. I acknowledge that my expectations were exceedingly high and that at times my frustration with swimmers who weren't coachable or did not believe in themselves or the team was not productive for the team. Yeah, so she's literally just being a coach. She's saying right here, okay, my expectations were too high. And that's why they're mad at her. Because I can assume that it was just one girl, or maybe it was who knows what actually happened. One carbon-based life form that felt that this coach went a little bit too hard, and that was enough to get her fired. I raised my voice, used profanity at times, and said things that could have been misinterpreted at the moment. And on one occasion, I reached for an athlete's arm to get her attention. And that's why they fired her. This is the reason, right? So while there's everything else going on and this story seems completely non-consequential, this is what's happening, and this is part of the reason why everything is collapsing, because the potential misconduct or whatever, all this nonsensical stuff just means obey. If this woman stepped out of line on one issue, that was enough for her to be terminated, because it doesn't matter if men are swimming in on women's sports team. It doesn't matter if men are going into the locker room, war, inflation. None of that matters if these quote unquote institutions that are supposed to be educating the younger generation, they are walking on eggshells, and they can't even encourage a women's swimmer in college. We're not talking about high school or elementary. We're talking about college. This is most likely an adult, right? I was 17 in college. Anyways, that's not the point. They are literally breaking down the entire foundation, right? First, man, woman, child, doesn't matter. Now, a coach can't even coach a player or a team member without getting fired. I mean,
I'm triggered.
It goes on. However, recent developments paint a picture that my worst days are how I showed up every day across every situation. This also isn't taking into account that some athletes arrive on campus with pre-existing physical and emotional issues. Yeah, so there's some crazy kids that show up on campus, and that's probably what happened, is that one super sensitive, weirdo, crazy kid who was probably indoctrinated by TikTok and her high school teacher came and her arm being touched by the swim coach was too much for her to handle, which obviously means she needs to crawl back inside of her mother and cook a little bit longer. This is ridiculous. A former All-American swimmer at USC, McKeever was hired by Cal in 1992 and coached the Golden Bears to 4 NCAA titles and 5 Pac-12 championships. She also coached the U.S. women's swim team at the 2012 London Olympics, but she was placed on leave by Cal in May 22 while the university commissioned an independent investigation into allegations made by the coach by former swimmers in a series of articles by the Orange County Register. So it seems like she was actually really quite successful. She went to the Olympics, she swam, she coached, but now she's just gone a step too far because, as we know, the cliff is eroding all around you. Let's take a look at this woman once more. Does she really deserve to be fired? Does anybody, I'm going to judge a book by its cover here, does anybody think that this woman was so mean, nasty, and despicable that she was suspended and then fired, all while men are dominating women swimming? This is just ridiculous. I'm sure it won't get heavy national media coverage, probably because they're not winning, but I'm sure as soon as a man straps on a one piece and starts kicking the crap out of the women's swim league, it would be incredibly brave and stunning, and it would certainly make the news.